Hi, everybody. Todd Nash, Senate District 29. We're just completing ledge days here. This is the 15th of January and started on Tuesday and it's ending on a Thursday. There's still a committee meeting wrapping up in um, Ways and Means, but most of the committees have had their meetings and we had a lot of really robust conversation around bills that are pending coming up. Lots of running around the building and trying to get support for bills from other legislators, and we've been doing some of the same here. And so that's kind of what Ledge Days is. In this case, there's a lot of conversation around the upcoming budget and what's going to take place there. Um, we've been asked to take a little bit of a haircut, and certainly there's going to be places where there's going to be some cutting done. I will say that, conversation, and I've heard from a number of you about the FFA program and cuts there, and those individuals that helped out with that. You did a fantastic job of messaging that, able to bring that down here and have that conversation with some of the key decision makers when it comes to those financial cuts, and let them know that that's really not a place that we can take any sort of a cut at all. And I compared it to our holy grail of things that we don't touch. And I think that that resonated down here, and but it wouldn't be nearly as meaningful without all of your help. And so congratulations to all you. We'll see when it comes out the other end, how that works out. But I'm feeling pretty confident at this point that that isn't going to be one of the things that is cut. Committee bills. We had introduction of a lot of different committee bills. Each committee can bring forth 3 committee bills, and then each legislator can bring forth 2 of their own. And so we saw an introduction to a number of those, a lot of conversation, and like I said, a lot of back and forth and trying to get early support. There are some that are going to be controversial, some that make a lot of good sense. And I will say the bipartisan congeniality down here was alive and well. It's a lot different than what you might see in the news. And I kind of wasn't looking forward to coming down here because of some of that, but we all want what's best. We come at things from a different lens, a different perspective, and a different way of thinking. But in the end, we're all human beings, and being respectful of each other is really important. And I did really enjoy my 3 days in the Capitol here. Committee bill that I was able to get out of the Natural Resource Committee, I went back and forth with Chair Golden on what he thought was acceptable. And we ended up landing on bringing the preg check bill back as a committee bill. And so if you recall, that was one of the bills that got vetoed by the governor, and without great reason, but I will be bringing that back. There is a need for people in the field that can brake check at this current time in history across the United States. We have a real shortfall of large animal veterinarians. And so in order to accomplish all the jobs that they have to do, this was one that was brought to me by the Farm Bureau. And there's been change in technologies too. At current time, you can do a blood test to see if cattle are pregnant and do that within 30 days. There's ultrasound machines that make it easier to determine if a cow is pregnant, and they become reasonably affordable. People have become very proficient with them. And then there's the old method of palpation that we have some people that are just very, very good at that. And veterinarians are certainly in that category. And there's some veterinarians that are top notch that will still be getting my phone call from them when I need to to have cows pregged. They have the unique ability to bring the vaccines that are needed for that day. Sometimes they even bring extra help, and they can provide a service that maybe somebody that's just preg checking only couldn't provide. So I think this strikes a good balance. The original bill had equine dentistry in it too. We couldn't find agreement on that, but this was a compromise, a step back, and glad to carry that one more time. A transient lodging tax, and taxes are a death knell to a lot of Republicans. They just never want to go there, and I don't either. It's not anything that I wanted to go to. We have a shortfall in the money for wolf compensation. In this biennium that we're in right now, it's going to be somewhere close to $4.5 million to cover the compensation around the state. That's the damage that wolves are doing in the state of Oregon in a 2-year period. Who's paying the cost of that? The ranchers are. And so not having the opportunity to have full control of the budget from the Republican side, we don't have a lot of options. This was a bill that popped up, had a lot of support, and it was a wildlife bill. So it has money for wildlife conservation, it has money for wildlife crossings, it has money for anti-poaching, has some money for invasive species and weeds. And there's nothing really bad in the bill, but it also added money for wolf compensation. And it would get us up to about $3.2 to $3.6 million, depending on the revenue stream that comes out of there. This was an opportunity for us to secure a steady stream of dollars for wolf comp. And I intend to support that. It's a House bill. It's going to be introduced by Representative Ken Helm. Mark Owens is also a chief sponsor, conservative Republican from Crane. On the House side, I am a chief sponsor on the Senate side, and it's going to be 1.25% added to transient lodging. Now, at the end of the day, we're still going to be the 4th lowest transient lodging tax in the United States. And so it isn't overly burdensome. And like I said, it was an opportunity for us to secure those city funds for wolf comp. And I've heard from all over the district now, as wolves have expanded to all over the district, how devastating this is. We passed a policy last year in the long session, Senate Bill 777. We got $1.24 million from both ODA and then $1 million. We were way short. The 1.24 is not going to cover everything that the ranchers are incurring. So I'm going to support this. I wish there was a different way. So don't have opportunity to do that. And so this was the avenue that I tend to support. The next bill that is not a committee bill, of those 2 bills that I had opportunity to introduce here, one was housing. And in rural Oregon, I was appointed to be on the housing committee, and the Senate president said at the time, you were going to have a completely different lens than mostly what gets talked about in the housing committee. And he's right. Most of what gets talked about is the need for housing in the Portland area, in other metro areas around the state, or even Bend for that matter. For us in rural Eastern Oregon, in rural Oregon, it looks different. And so what I'm proposing here, and I've talked about it a little bit before, is the allowance of each individual county to develop what is currently in resource land up to 50 acres and a minimum lot size of 2 acres. And then placing houses on there that are houses that aren't great big houses, 1,200 feet 1,200 square feet and less, and then a density of at least 5 houses per acre, so that we try to, when we develop these pieces of land, that we concentrate enough houses there to have an impact, one, and then we make them small enough that they're affordable. In other places that I've been, that I've seen this kind of template take shape, you had people that were first-time homeowners purchasing, you had policemen, you had retirees, you had school teachers. And I think that it's a good bill. Ultimately, it'll be run through local planning. People can come in and apply if they think they have 2 acres or more that they want to develop into housing. And the commissioners will have a final say on whether it gets out. So you'll have a lively, robust public process and a local decision made. And if you decide not to do it at all, so be it. I think I have heard enough that there will be counties that will take advantage of this, and it'll be a benefit to them, for the service industry people, for retirees, all of those that I said, and hopefully some first-time home buyers that can get into a new property there. Enough said about that. There's one other component to it that would allow another dwelling on a ranch or farm site that has an existing dwelling. But we'll have that bill rolled out, and we'll have a bill number on it here before long. I will tell you, there's quite a lot of excitement about it, and we have bipartisan support throughout the building. So more to come on that. But the best part is that decision will be made at a local basis, and you'll have some input rather than the decisions being made down here. The last bill I was able to introduce, and we went around trying to find something else to introduce, and meat labeling came up. Excuse me. Meat labeling was a bill that was introduced last session by Rep. Scharf, and it didn't get a lot of traction. It had some things in there that maybe wouldn't have got it across the finish line or prohibited it. And so we tried to clean that up a little bit. And we looked at both sides of the equation here. So if you're wanting to purchase meat, you want to make sure it's not lab grown or manufactured in some way, or it has components in it that you don't want to eat. We want to make sure that if it has a label on it that says meat, that it truly is what it says it is. And the same way going the other way, so that if you're a vegetarian or a vegan, I'm sorry if you are, but if you are, then you can rest assured that that is only plant-based. And so we spun that around the Capitol here. My chief of staff, Isaac Insko, done a fantastic job, and that kind of took up a life of its own. And excuse me, and many people have signed on to that bill as well. Coming up this next week, a week from today, on Thursday, I'm going to be meeting with a large number of county commissioners from Eastern Oregon, some of the legislators from that side of the state, and we're going to strategize a little bit. If you have something that you want your county commissioner to bring forward and want us to focus on, please do. We want to hear from all of you. It's really too late to introduce anything new into this short session. The long session is going to be coming up, and it'll be September ledge days, and time to pre-session file before you know it into this new year of 2026. And so it's never too late to get started on those things and develop those ideas. And there's going to be some contentious things that come up that we need to play defense on, and there's going to be some positive things that we can bring forward. We try not to complicate it too much here in this short session, because it's going to go very fast. It starts the 2nd of February and it's going to end on the 9th of March. So it is a sprint. Lastly, I'm going to talk about transportation a little bit. There's a lot of loose ends to tie up there, folks. So many of you went out and collected signatures. You signed a petition to put on the ballot the transportation bill so that you could vote on it next November. And most of you have seen the reaction that has come from the governor, and that she really doesn't want that to be on the ballot at the same time she's up for re-election. So her response was to pull that back and have a bill that pulls all of that transportation vote that we took in that special session in September. There is a lot of political hacky sack going on right now on how to posture, how to maneuver, how to keep that on the November ballot. I'm not sure that we can, but we'll see how it all shakes out. It is an interesting time down here. I will tell you, even if it doesn't end up on that November ballot, all that you did there, it put us in a place of negotiation that we wouldn't have had without you. So I can't thank you enough for all the good work you did. Ed Deal, Representative Ed Deal, and Senator Bruce Starr really led the charge on that. But it was a grassroots situation like we've never seen before in gathering signatures. Usually there's money behind that, an organization, but you guys individually did so much. And it was bipartisan. There were people from all walks of life that said enough. And so I'm really proud of you for holding the line on that and getting us to a better spot where we can talk about this. And it not only for transportation, but other bills into the future that if it's really contentious, we prove something here in Oregon that we can go back to the people, we can collect the signatures, and we can tell the governor, we can tell the legislature, we don't want that. And so congratulations again to all of you. I am going to head home in here in just a little bit. I so enjoy being home more than ever. Really proud to be down here in Salem though and representing you. And I'm hope that you come see me if you can during this 35-day session. We would love to show you around the Capitol. Much of the construction is completed now, and it really is a beautiful building, and we'd like to show it off and have you stop by our office to say hi. With that, maybe we'll see you around, and we'll be talking again soon. Bye.